OSPR works very closely with the OWCN. In fact, myself and Colleen Young get integrated into the wildlife ops that OWCN runs during the spill. Our role is to get out there, do surveys, spot the wildlife, stage capture operations, and get those animals captured and sent into field stabilization and the primary care facility.
Mike and I are trained to do wildlife recovery in coordination with the OWCN, so we get called on bigger spills like this to help with whatever species of wildlife needs to be recovered.
OSPR typically fills the role of Wildlife Branch Director. So that's a position at the command post overseeing all wildlife operations. So the first thing we're thinking about is resources. What do we need on the ground for wildlife response? And we can deal with wildlife care maybe a day after we get set up, but the first thing we need to know is who can we get out there in the field to look for and collect oiled birds.
They will continually try to remove that oil with their bill, and they'll end up ingesting it. So it's much better if we can capture the birds and remove the oil than having them take care of it themselves. What we see is that their body condition tends to decline over time when they're out in the wild and oiled, because they have trouble maintaining their body temperature because those feathers are fouled, and also they're potentially ingesting the product, which is not good for them.
The general public shouldn't attempt to capture these animals. We have an 800 number they should be calling to report them.
But the best thing that they can do is call the hotline number so that we can get there, assess the animal, and capture it safely rather than trying to capture it themselves. If they really want to help, they can keep people away from that animal.
We just released some of the snowy plovers that were oiled during the spill, and that's kind of an exciting moment. Snowy plovers are a somewhat rare species. They're a threatened species under the Federal Endangered Species Act. Population here on the Pacific Coast, population of western snowy plovers is under 3,000 birds, and so they've got a lot against them in terms of human development and increasing predator populations and human disturbance. So an oil spill is the last thing they need. So getting these birds cleaned up and back out here in the environment is a real success story.